going to start slow, which will give you time to get to your seat with this nigun. And then we'll speed it up. And then you'll start rushing to your seats. No, I'm kidding.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It's a delight to be with everybody here this evening on this perfect Shabbat here in our outdoor sanctuary at Congregation Beth Am with Cantor Jamie Spall. My name is Rabbi John Prosnet. How wonderful it is that brothers and sisters can come together to dwell in harmony. Special welcome to all of those who are streaming. Shabbat Shalom to you as well. I'm just going to invite everyone just to take 1 second, and if you're streaming, I'll give you a challenge in a second, but we're going to be right before, take a second, turn to someone that you do not know or you have not seen in a long time and wish them Shabbat Shalom. And if you're streaming, text someone Shabbat Shalom and then turn your phone off. Unless you're watching on your phone. Congratulations. We are on page 8 of your Siddur.
When the month of Elul comes, we like to sing this psalm, Psalm 27, where we put out an ask, a request to feel God's nearness, to have that awareness of the divine presence in our lives as we go into this month of Elul, to bring a little bit more added awareness of the goodness and the kindness in everything and everyone. So we'll sing this Achat Sha'alti. This is kind of new. I think I got it over COVID. I learned it a few years ago while listening to different new music. It goes like this. Achat Sha'alti me'et Adonai. Achat Sha'alti ota avakesh. שאלתי לעת אדוני, אחת שאלתי אותה אבקש.
Beautiful. Join with me on page 6 in the reading in English, Elul, an island in the year. Before we slip too quickly into the seasons of the soul, let there be a Sabbath of Sabbaths for the heart. Before the music of creation's majesty, let there be a silent praise of existence. Before the feast of sanctified words, let there be a poetry of solitude. Before we enter the palaces of prayer, let us find within ourselves a place of calm. Before we revel in the wondrous and sublime, let there be an honest inward gaze. Before the rites and ceremonies of awe, let there be quieter days, an island of attentiveness.
All right. We're going to bring in Shabbat, the lighting of Shabbat candles. And I would like to invite up this week's bat mitzvah, Esme Gordon, with her mom and dad, Will and Melissa, and her brother. Emmett, too. Come on up.
And we're on page 10.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
I'm going to ask Esme to come on over here and ask you all to turn to page 12 as we sing the words of Kiddush. And I see some cousins and maybe friends out there that are under the age of 13, under the age of bar and bat mitzvah. If you are out there under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, come join us on the bima. Don't be bashful. If you need to bring a mom or dad with you, you can do that as well as we celebrate with some Shabbat juice.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. Okay, here.
Person.
Esme, mazel tov to you and your whole family. I know Betham. Oh, okay. Max spilt a little grape juice on himself, which is fine. I know Beth Am is important to your family as a third generation bat mitzvah here. What a wonderful blessing. And we also have another wonderful blessing tonight. And we have the opportunity of celebrating a very big birthday as a community this Shabbat. Earlier this week, our member, Buck Brzezinski, turned 90 years old. Many of you know Buck, as he's around Beth Am often. He's a wise and caring individual who has a good sense of humor, an engaging personality, and an unmatched willingness to help out. At Beth Am, Buck has been most involved with our Beth Am men's group, a regular at our breakfasts since the beginning, a dedicated leader of the BAM photo group, a writer, and a storyteller. Buck is also always willing and committed to do the work behind the scenes. He's made hot dogs for many a barbecue. He helps build the sukkah each year, and he pours wine on Purim. Many of you probably would recognize him more aptly wearing his proud blue Beth Am men's apron. However, you might not know of his upbringing that I thought I'd share with this community for a moment right now because it's quite remarkable. Born in Copenhagen in August of 1933 to an electrician father and who later owned a yardage store, and a mother who was a tailor and a seamstress in her brother's shop. In 1940, the Nazis invaded Denmark and took over the Danish government. For a number of years, however, the Danish Jews lived in relative tranquility. The Jewish community continued to function in Denmark, including holding services regularly throughout the occupation. However, the status quo changed dramatically in August of 1943, 80 years ago, where Danish resistance operations, to which many Danish Jews were contributed, had gathered momentum during the spring and summer of that year. Rather than yield to a German demand to prosecute suspected saboteurs in German military courts, the Danish government resigned en masse in August 28, 1943, 80 years ago this week. The following night, the German military commander, General Hermann von Hanneken, declared martial law, and German authorities arrested Danish civilians, Jews and non-Jews alike, and along with Danish military personnel. Under the state of emergency, German authorities took direct control over the Danish police and armed forces. Responding to a suggestion from German occupation officials that martial law might be a good opportunity to solve the Jewish question in Denmark, the German security police sent a deportation coordinator to Copenhagen in September of 1943 to make arrangements. However, those German plans were betrayed by German diplomatic officials to Social Democrat delegates in the Danish parliament. And unlike in the rest of Western Europe and Norway, the plans floundered on Danish autonomy, and the resulting absence of legislation segregated Jews from Danish society. With the encouragement and support from King Christian and the Danish government, Danish resistant groups and thousands of sympathetic citizens launched a national rescue effort, hiding Danish Jews for several days, smuggling them onto boats of all sizes, and ferrying them across the narrow strait at the southern end of the Kært Sound to safety in neutral Sweden. One of those Jews was our member, Buck Brzezinski. Buck writes about this extensively, and he would be happy to share with you as well, but he let me read a section of his writings this evening. This is what Buck writes. On our fourth escape attempt, at nightfall when it finally got dark, we were taken out to the street and walked around the corner and were put into a car. After driving for a while, we wound up in a hospital where we were hidden away in the operating room with other people. After waiting a while more, a dozen of us were placed into an ambulance, and while the siren going, we traveled at high speed down the coast highway to a fishing village in the south. We were then taken to a fisherman's house in the dark and hidden the rest of the night. In the early morning, when it was still dark, we were escorted across a field down to the harbor where the fishing boats were tied up in several rows. We were taken out on the dock to the boats. With my pregnant mother, We were taken to the outer boat and put down into the bottom of the boat. We were packed into the boat like sardines. They put several layers of fishing nets over us. In the cold, dark, early morning, the boat finally took off and traveled for several hours in the rough seas. And with the boat rocking and the smell of diesel, we all got sick. However, we finally reached the Swedish town of Trelleborg. We were taken out of the fishing boat to a local hospital. As I remember, the world was swimming for days. The nurses fed us a hearty meal, and we were finally safe. After the war, Buck and his family, his sister, born in Sweden, we returned to Denmark. He moved to the United States of America in 1954. For the sake of time, I'm going to jump ahead, but I promise there is amazing stuff in between these years, including being a poor immigrant that didn't speak English in the Bronx, to being a deputized sheriff in Tennessee, to being a lifelong businessman and entrepreneur. But I'm going to jump ahead to 2005 when Buck met our member, Marion Blackman. Two widows met in all places, J-date. And 14 years ago, they were married here in 2009 by Rabbi Martyr. And they have been members and committed parts of this community ever since. Marion's daughter is a member of Beth Am, and Buck's family is streaming in, so we wish you a Shabbat Shalom as well. They also have touched many hearts of friends and community members. So Buck, it's a delight to invite you and Marion up to the Bima this evening to receive this birthday blessing. Come on over here so your family that's streaming can see you. Buck, Mazel Tov and L'chaim on this remarkable day. Mazel Tov and L'chaim on this remarkable day. As you, our beloved friend, reach the grand milestone of your 90th birthday, we come together as a community to celebrate a life that has been a tapestry of faith, love, and resilience. A blessing of longevity. Just as a great oak stands firm throughout decades, may you continue to stand in the embrace of good health and vitality. May your days be filled with energy and your heart with the enthusiasm of youth. A blessing of family. Your family's love is a blessing that has multiplied over the years. May the bonds you've nurtured be a source of strength and joy, and may your legacy of unity and togetherness be passed down throughout the ages. A blessing of joy. As you celebrate another year around the sun, may your heart be filled with the joy of a life well lived. May laughter echo through your days, and may your spirit find delight in each moment. A blessing of gratitude. With gratitude, may you look back on the chapters of your life, a life that has contributed so much to our community and our shared heritage. May your heart overflow with gratitude for the journey you've traveled. And finally, a blessing of peace. In the shelter of 90 years, may you find serenity and tranquility. And may you be surrounded by the comfort of cherished memories and the promises of peaceful tomorrow. As you stand at the crossroads of the past and the future, may the light of your soul shine just like the Shabbat candles we light. Your journey has been a testament to the enduring spirit of our people, and your presence continues to bless us all. Mazel Tov, Buck, on your 90th birthday. May the coming years be adorned with health and happiness. We are privileged to know you. Please all join Cantor Spall and myself in...
A simmer tov, a mazel tov, a mazel tov, a simmer tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, a simmer tov, simmer tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, a simmer tov.
Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Ovecho Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Ovecho Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Ovecho Yisrael. Yehei lanu, Yehei lanu, Ovecho Yisrael.
tov.
Lechadodi is on page 22. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Baruch Hu, our formal call to worship, page 26. Sing the words, open up our eyes. If you have a cardstock cue song sheet, it will be on there, but if not, you'll be able to pick up the words really easily.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace. Gather us in as you lead us to your name, as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, as you lead us to your name. And we will know that you are one. Oh, we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem
Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Be seated. We invite forward Mia Burkow, next week's bat mitzvah, to lead us in the words of the Via Hafta, which are on page 34.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך דיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם.
We continue with our prayer of freedom and redemption, Micha Mocha, which can be found on page 40 in your prayer book. כיפד אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. We're on page 42. Let's sing these. This is the dancing section up front. So we have one dancer so far, but we welcome others if you'd like. Okay. We join together in our prayer of shelter, Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Ehamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Ehamidenu Shomreinu leChayim. Ushmor
Shalom, me'ata v'ad olam.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Ehamidenu Malkeinu leChayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, Ehamidenu Shomreinu leChayim.
Anybody go back to school this week or couple people went back to school, teachers and students. Anybody about to go back to school, maybe for their senior year of college? Other people come home from the final vacation of summer. Well, it's great to know that each week we get Shabbat, whether it's a week filled with school or work, or a week filled of vacation, or however it comes. Friday night, we get the gift of Shabbat. We'll sing about it on page 46.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
You're able, we invite you to rise on page 48 for the words of Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, our meditation before the Amidah.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la, ya la la doesn't get good. If you have that cardstock sheet, has the words to Olam Chesed Yibaneh. We will build this world with love, build it from love with Chesed. Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Turn to our prayer for healing, knowing that so many people in our lives, we are praying for renewal of body, renewal of spirit. The words of healer of the brokenhearted is on page 77. The Betham community is praying for Ginny Anderson, Alex Brodsky, Diane Denenberg, Rudy Andreezy, Marty Gelman, Selena Glader, Hannah Bat Shlomo Miriam, Barbara Heiken, Dennis Horn, Moritz Huppert, Miriam Bat Eliezer V'Dvora, Judith Ovadia, Sophia Palisban, Rabbi Lori Phillips, Bobby Rosencrantz, Stephen Abraham Simon, David Baruch Ben Simona, Charles Steinberg, Julie Sutcliffe, Marcia Wagschal, Len Williams, Yehuda Ben Mini Chaya, and Zahava Bat Davina. If you're offering prayers of healing for someone, I invite you to share their name out loud at this time. It's still August, so we still get to hear from our amazing Beth Am congregants as they offer our Divrei Torah, our words of wisdom from our Bima. And tonight it's a delight to welcome Lauren Berman.
Hello. My name is Lauren Berman, and I was introduced to Beth Am through my husband, at the time boyfriend, in 1995. He, like many of you, was introduced to Beth Am through his family, and Sunday school, and Hebrew school, and a bar mitzvah. I then had my own connections here. I made my own connections, studying as a Jew by choice, having my conversion, launching and teaching a very popular education program here, along with Rabbi Yoshi, who happens to be here tonight, Yeh Hagigah, and participating in the Atid program. As a couple, and later a larger family, we had Beth Am life cycle events, weddings, baby namings, b'nai mitzvahs, both our own and those of countless family members and friends. In our daughter Rachel's junior year in high school, she, along with some of her friends, participated in Beth Am's civil rights journey trip to Georgia and Alabama with Rabbi Heath. Her experience was important to her, and it's important to us. We are a white, economically privileged family, living in a town where less than 1% of its residents identify themselves as Black or African American. We sent our kids to private Jewish schools and summer camps that have a large emphasis on social justice and tikkun olam, but with very few students, teachers, and counselors who are Black. As parents, we expressed our outrage over racial inequities. We raged over George Floyd's death at the TV and the newspaper with our kids, and encouraged and participated in social justice activities. However, outside of breakfast/dinner table conversations, because rarely did we ever have both, what they learned at school, what they had read, what they'd watched in entertainment and social media, they had no actual experiences to absorb for themselves or even hear live, firsthand, from those who lived through the civil rights movement and continue to fight for equality and justice. And while we both felt an understanding of this history, our place in it, our responsibilities to it, is critical for the development of deeply empathetic people who are designed for action. We had created a life that was pretty lacking in any real exposure to it. When 2 years later, Rabbi Heath contacted us, along with other parents of teens, many of whom are here tonight, who had taken this journey in prior years, about an inaugural Beth Am civil rights journey trip for grown-ups, we immediately registered. This past February, we, along with many friends we had made throughout our Beth Am journey, as well as some new friends, led by the extremely brave Rabbi Heath and Beth Am's teen education director, Lauren Bone, who I believe learned that wrangling teens is far easier than wrangling 30-plus, 40-plus-year-olds. And an incredible Edgar 36 tour guide, Josh. We loaded a bus in Atlanta, Georgia, and began what we almost all agreed to was one of the most powerful experiences of our adult lives. While everything in me would love to provide you with every single incredible detail of every part of this journey, this is not intended to be a travel log, and really whoever really wants to hear every detail of anyone's travel journey. And I hope, actually, that you will choose to experience this yourself, either this fall when Beth Am makes a second trip with grown-ups to the South, or any trip following. And even though it's been a full 6 months since our trip, I still really struggle to find words that can adequately convey the experience in the moment. However, I believe I speak for many of the participants of this trip in stating the visit to the Equal Justice Initiative's National Memorial and Legacy Museums in Montgomery were especially impactful, so we'll share some of that with you. For those of you who have not visited the Legacy Museum, or perhaps not since its expansion a few years ago, you are immediately struck by the understanding that you are in a building that at one time actually sold and traded enslaved humans. The museum takes you through, in the most vivid and interactive ways, the brutality of being kidnapped from your home and family, brought across huge, terrifying oceans with worry about dying and worry about living, not knowing where you're going or what horrors will await you. Incredibly sophisticated holograms of enslaved women and children tell in the first person, in front of you, their stories of suffering. The stories from the children contain a sliver of hope and innocence, which sadly we know in many ways is still not now fully realized. Post-emancipation, the journey into Jim Crow America, where separate but equal did not guarantee equal protection under the law and gave rise to the civil rights movement, is on full display in the museum. It ultimately takes you into present-day America and the reality that even though laws have been passed and battles have been won in the courts, the perpetuation of white supremacy and the evolution of slavery that continues is a result of the fact that laws cannot change the heart. Evident in so many ways, seen, and as non-Black people were very often not seen, including mass incarceration of Blacks in America. One is forever changed after walking under the National Memorial's massive monuments, one for each county in America, with the names of African Americans who had been lynched, some for as little as making eye contact with a white person, by its citizens on that county's soil, some as late as 1981. The sheer power of just this one afternoon made a searing and powerfully convincing case that we cannot move forward until we have come to terms with our brutal past. What I'd hoped to take away from this journey was an educational and emotional experience that would inspire me to take action that I could share with my kids in order to have a deeper, more impactful discussions about racial inequality. I expected to see new places with new people. I expected to be outraged. I expected to feel guilty. I expected to consider how enslavement and continued racial discrimination of Black people related to my Judaism and the historical experience of Jews. Done. What was unexpected was the impact of feeling these things with others as a community. We learned on the trip of Beth Am's involvement in the civil rights movement with Rabbi Sidney Axelrod, who joined Reverend Martin Luther King in the march from Selma to Montgomery in 1965. We swelled with Beth Am pride in our congregation's great participation in this struggle, yet simultaneously feeling that our commitment was still falling short of what we were capable of. Each evening we gathered and discussed our feelings in the day in a way you can only do in real time with real people. We all shared the feeling of having such an urgent and restless need to make monumental changes as quickly as possible, yet acknowledge the power of allowing your feelings of discomfort to sit with you for a bit, to fully wash over you before jumping in, for you to change before taking action that may not be sustainable or impactful, but in a way that may be truly helpful. I've changed as a person, as a parent, and a human in the world. I've also changed as a Beth Am congregant and community member. Beth Am will continue to be a place where our family will have weddings, baby namings, and life cycle events. I look forward to my return to teaching as a sub this year. But Beth Am is now also a place where I work with others to support in support of their contributions to education, restorative justice, and reparations. It's a new shared experience, not one that takes place in our beautiful sanctuary or social hall, but in our hearts and out in the world. A place to grow and a place to explore our obligation to others. While I'm giving you my experiences here, Mine are not unique to me, and they're also completely unique to me. There are so many people here who not only shared this journey, but your own in this way. I really do strongly urge you to participate in this journey in the future, or in any way that continues to engage you in new and different ways here in Beth Am and out in the world. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Thank you, Lauren. What an amazing thread between hearing the story about Buck at the beginning and his 90th birthday, to Lauren and the other Beth Am members, the work, and the trip to the South, knowing that this weekend, it's the 60th anniversary of the March on Washington. And was anybody at the March on Washington here 60 years ago in Washington, D.C.? But certainly the threads are powerful. And the threads continue. And so thanks for that challenge, Lauren. If you're able, I invite you to rise. We say the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 78.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Tet Gedula L'Yotzer Bereshit, Shelo Asanu K'Goyei Haratzot, Ve'lo Samanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'Gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, V'anachnu Koreim U'mishtachavim U'modim Lifnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. One day, one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will say one day, one day, one day. Oh yeah, 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 one day, one day, one day. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will play
One day, one day, one day, one
Thank you, Ezra.
Have a seat. Just a brief announcement or two before we conclude our service. One is please linger. There is an Oneg Shabbat on the patio in the social hall in honor of Buck's 90th birthday, so please join and say hi to somebody new. As Lauren talked about, it's also always great to welcome back one of the Beth Am past rabbis. So Rabbi Yoshi Zweiback's here. Where are you, Yoshi? Along with his family. So it's so great to see you. I see you're sitting really close to Rabbi Block. So if they start talking, though, make sure nobody gets in the way of that conversation. Right where you picked up your prayer books is our tzedakah box. This month we're collecting for Hope's Corner, which is a Mountain View nonprofit that does amazing work serving low-income and homeless residents and welcomes anyone looking for a meal, help, or friendly place. In the past few years, Hope's Corner has seen the demand grow in this area. So to support one of these amazing local organizations, Please, if you have money, you can put in a tzedakah box or a check. You can donate on the Beth Am webpage, or you can Venmo Beth-Am and just mark a tzedakah box. I know some of our members were volunteering at Hope's Corner just this past Wednesday, serving breakfast. It's a longtime partner of Congregation Beth Am. One other plug on the tzedek front. As you walked in, you might have seen some amazing individuals over with our preneg, part of our new social justice initiative called our Farm Mitzvah program. Our Farm Mitzvah program has been working ever since January after the tragic shooting in some of the farms in Half Moon Bay to build relationships with some of the communities on the California coast, specifically farm workers, led by so many amazing people. I see Karen and Laura and Janet and others that I don't want to miss who are out there. But thank you so much. Will you guys raise your hand if you're on the Farm Mitzvah? Team Natalie and out there, and Jamie. It's an amazing, if you're interested in this work, on our harvest holiday of Sukkot, we will be welcoming Alice, which is Ayudanos Latinos a Sonar, an amazing Half Moon Bay organization. And they'll be bringing their mariachi band here, as well as the symbolism of Sukkot and our harvest holidays. So if you're interested in that, please find one of the amazing Farm Mitzvah team, or you can ask me or Cantor Spall or any other clergy. This is your first time at Beth Am. It's wonderful to see you. You haven't been here in a while. It's wonderful to see you. Please come say hi to us after the service. I see some of our board members out there. I see Laura and Amy and Tina, and Jay's always helping out, and Jerry and others I'm sure I've missed. But say hi. Find another loving and friendly face. We turn to our prayer of memory. If I read the name of your loved one, I invite you to rise in his or her honor, and at the end we'll all rise to say Kaddish together. Lost to the Beth Am community in this week, in this period of Shiva, was Miriam Rappaport, mother of Leah Strauss and Randy Strauss, Edward Rappaport and Nancy, and Debbie Rebello, and then grandmother of Benjamin, Ryan, Georgia, Joshua, Lindsay, David, Joseph, and Lillian. And lost to our community was also John McGrath, the brother of our member Ann Hochberg, and Michael, and the uncle of Simon and Jacob. In this period of Shloshim, the Beth Am community remembers Lincoln Spolar, Tony DeSopo, Gerald Jerry Norman Tuck, Janet Slaw, Elaine Ermim, and Thomas Nordlinger. And on this period of Yahrzeit, we remember with love Chet Adelberg, Ruth Adler, Abraham Appleton, Jacob Borsuk, Saul Brown, Julian Harris Cohn, Lynn Eig, Alan Eisner, Harold B. Elsom, Rita Eden Newfield, Miriam Fan, Theodore Fine, Max Fish, Philip Garfinkel, Marion Givens, Isaac Gould, Alexander Greenberg, Solomon Gross, Paul Height, Celia Feldman Halpern, Molly Hoffman, Albert Eichel, Ted Jacob, Audrey Kaufman, Bill Kellman, Sonia Kodakova, Stanley Kramer, Lee Cubby, Herbert Kunis, Beverly Kurlan, Harriet Levine, Eve Lindauer, Helene Linson, Norman Marcus, Sonia Goldman Mailer, Pearl Meissner, Frida Meltzer, Jean Miller, Merv Norris, Rosalind Nasim, Marlon Personette, Virginia M. Richter, Tilly Rich, Eugene Russell, Leah Bela Safro, Betty Schechter, Felix Shapiro, Joyce Scher, Jason Schultz, Eric Sobel, Morton Summer, Raymond Spidolnik, Servia Sue Stevens, Henry Stiskinski, Hannah Tsirlignikova, Lillian Weiss, Hannah Williams, Jeanette Yavitz, and Jack B. Zellinger. If you're thinking of someone whose name I did not read, I invite you to rise and share their name out loud at this time. We rise as one, Kaddish Yatom, page 86. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma devera kirte bi'amlich malchute, be'chayechon uvyom echon, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב באמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי דקדושה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה בשירתה, תושבחתה בנחמתה, דמירם בעמה באמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, בחיים עלינו בעל כל ישראל באמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו בעל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו amen. We sing the words of peace, peace here, peace in Israel. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, page 92.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kulam. Ready? Tekiah. All right, now we'll have some hamotzi. You guys ready for this? Go ahead.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Take a piece, take a piece. Say hi to somebody new on your way out.